Hello guys, and welcome to Code Square. This is the first video here on the YouTube channel, and hopefully many more to go. My name is Alex, and I'm glad to be here with you today. What I'm trying to do, it's actually a pretty new idea, I hope, and an idea that will help a lot of you guys. Basically, we have seen that the software engineering jobs are more and more demanding. They need more and more skilled people, and there are a lot of actually guys and people on the internet that are just selling these things to you that hi, you can be a programmer in just 6 months, just follow our course. I also saw that on YouTube there are a lot of videos for 10 hours, 12 hours about C++ beginner course from zero. And don't get me wrong, guys, these are really good courses. But what I want to do, and hopefully you will like this idea, is to actually establish a connection where you can see, how we are progressing together. We are going to have a lot of videos, 30 to 45 minutes videos. We are going to start with basic concepts, basically from scratch, like you are new to programming. And I'm going to make more series on C++, C, Java, OOP, a lot of different concepts. And hopefully we can together develop and you can land your first software engineering job. This time is going to be a little bit different. Why? Well, because um, we are going to take it in a different manner. I'm going to do a video, and after the video is going to be posted in the description, I'm also going to have a few links with problems that are alike the ones that we are going to work here together. Why? Because when you are watching a tutorial on YouTube about, I don't know, a project, for example, an Amazon clone in React, or I don't know, when you are doing that, you are just watching. Most of the time, you are copying what, yeah, what you are seeing on the screen, but it's not really helping because you are not the one thinking. And when it's come to actually do something yourself, it's very hard and you are feeling like you never progressed. That's why after each video, after each small progression, you are going to have some problems to work for yourself. The only solution for you to progress is to actually put in the work. Yeah? Because you are the only one that can do it. Sorry for the long introduction. I thought that it would be good to have a little introduction. Maybe it's going to be a history for this channel. I don't know. But hopefully I didn't bore you too much. And yeah, let's get to work. Let's start. What I'm thinking of doing is to actually start with C++. This is the first language programming that I started doing 7 years ago, actually. Yeah, 7 years ago, a lot of time. 7 years ago in high school. By the way, I'm 22 years old now. Uh, I'm I will start. I basically just finished my third university year. I will have the last one, and I'm already a software engineer here in Romania. So why I'm doing this? Because I want to help you guys to see to go through the good things exactly without having to struggle like I did because no one was there to teach me. Okay, enough with the talking. Let's get to work. Okay, so in order to start with C++, I picked C++ because I think that this is a really good language. It's a little bit harder than Python. I know that a lot of people are recommending Python, but Python it's I mean with C++, you are really putting your hand in the code, you know? You are really learning how to manage the memory, how to really know exactly each step of the code. not so many libraries for everything. We are going to learn things from scratch. Yeah, I know, even though we are going to learn a lot of libraries in the future with C++, still we are going to get it by scratch, step by step. Good. So first, we are going to need an IDE. Visual Studio Code is actually not an IDE. What's an IDE? Basically, an application where we can program, we can run some codes. Visual Studio Code is actually an editor. Yeah, so it's just a really nice interface program where we can build and have our tools, and then we can just build our programs and run it. So, what do we need? If you cannot set up Visual Studio Code, I will also probably do a video in the future on this, on how to do this. But if you don't have Visual Studio Code set up, there is no problem. You can use, I don't know, any online editor. I know you can just go for C++ compiler, I don't know, anything like this, and it will work. Something like this. Just click run and GG. Yeah. So we have the output to our program. You can use this. You can download Codebox. So Codebox. Okay, Codebox, you can just download this from here. And yeah, this is the same. I mean, this is good as well. But if you want, you can just VS Code. You need to download this, and we'll need a compiler. It's a little bit more complicated to set up the Visual Studio Code, but I will make a video probably if there is there is enough requests for this. So stay tuned for this. But let's see. What is a programming language? How we can start writing in C++? How we can have our first code? Well, let's put it like this. A C++ code is actually really dumb, to be fair. I mean, just think about like the program doesn't know anything. It cannot access anything. You don't have anything for it. You just have to write anything from everything from scratch. So at first, you need to add a little bit of information to it to know where he is looking, how to use certain things. And for that, there are some libraries. Okay, so we have some libraries that we can use in C++, and this library, the first library, the most basic one, it's actually iostream. So how to add this? We are going to write hashtag include iostream. What is this going to do? Basically, it includes the iostream library in our code. If we are going to control click on this, we are going to see a lot of implementations. Yeah, I mean, it's just the std. We are now will now be able to actually use to read stuff, to write stuff to the console, and a lot of every other stuffs. So basically, the basic things that are done in C++ are using iostream. Okay, basically for reading and writing. Now, the following line, it's somehow correlated to this. Okay, so these first lines are actually from a template. You just need to learn them basically, and as you code further, you will notice that hey, this is actually really easy to keep in mind, and you don't have to. It's not that hard to remember. At first, you can have it on, I don't know, a piece of paper and look it up from time to time, but no worries, it will go easier. So the second one is using namespace std. Okay, so using namespace std. This is going to help us because you'll see in a second. Let's just keep this here on hold. The next line, actually, we are going to leave a blank line here. It's going to be the main function of our program. And how we can define it? We can define it as int main, some two parentheses, and then this. Okay, and return 0. And this is basically the most basic C++ code that you can see. Okay, what's this about? What is this int main? What does this do? Well, the main, it's the name of our function. And the main, because it's the main function, that's the most typical the most typical one that it's used for these programs. And what are these parentheses? What are these doing? Well, in here we are specifying the parameters. I mean, what this function needs to run well, to run in a certain way. And we don't have to worry about this now. Let's just know that this is theoretically where we are going to put some other numbers, other variables here. But the int main, in our case, doesn't have any parameter because it doesn't need anything from outside, from an external point of view, to run correctly. Okay? Here, in this, it's going to start the body part of the function. Okay? And the int that is here, it's actually an integer. So int signifies an integer. This is basically what we are going to return in our function. As you can see, we are returning 0. 0 is an integer number, okay? That's why we are putting int here, because we are returning an integer number, and here is the type of data that we are returning. I know this is a little bit more complicated at first. That's why it's better to just learn it this way, and as we progress, it will make more sense, okay? So for now, just to have an idea of what this is. Yeah, so I will not put you in the dark, completely in the dark, but I'll just give you an idea of what is this about. Okay, let's continue. In here, basically, this is our code. Okay, what are these two slashes? So, if we want a text part, a text or something that shouldn't be seen by the compiler, shouldn't be seen by the code itself, we are just going to start with slash slash. Okay, and with slash slash, anything that we write on this line, it's a comment. Okay, so this is a comment. The comments are really useful when we are building really big applications and we want the people that come after us to know what we are writing there about, okay, and what is the code below or above doing. So that's really helpful. So whenever you see that I'm putting this slash slash and then something, it's a comment. Good. So this is our code. Okay, good. What is the simplest thing that we can do with our code? What is the simplest thing that we can do with our code? Well, we can do a program that actually prints something, okay? That will show us, the user, something did by him, okay? For example, a message. And the most basic message is actually hello world. But we are not going to do the eternal hello world. We are going to do something like first day here, okay? How we are going to print a message? It's not working to do like this. First day here. Nah, this doesn't work, okay? It's an error. Actually, if we keep the mouse on this, it says identifier first is undefined because it doesn't know what this is. We don't have any reference to these words, okay? So this doesn't work. How we are going to do it? Well, to write something, anything, on the console, in the terminal, we are going to use a keyword named cout. C comes from console and out it's the output. Okay, so cout, and then it's kind of like a pipeline. The next characters, it's less, and then our message, but not first day here, because again we are going to have an error that this is undefined. As you can see, cout, it's good. It says that it's from std, from ostream, so it's really good. The cout is okay. But this is problematic. If you want to print a message, please remember this. Any message, uh, it's in between. We have to put the messages in quotes. Okay? How? Well, like this and this. Okay? So double quotes. Okay. Now every sentence in C++, it has to end with a semicolon. Okay? Good. Great. Now, this is our first program. This is our first program. What we are going to do from here? Well, let's just run it. How we are going to run it? Well, in VS Code, we are going to place Control J. So, in VS Code, we are using Ctrl plus J to open the terminal. Okay, as you can see now in the terminal, the PowerShell is brought up. Okay, so we have the PowerShell here. What we need to do first is to actually build the program. We actually need to build it and then run it. How are we going to build it? Well, there are two ways. Also, depending uh, on the IDE that you have, is going to be probably different. From here, either I have a shortcut which is Shift F9, or we go to Terminal and we are going to run build task. As you can see, I have this shortcut. Run build task. And here it says starting build and build finished successfully. Now, if we open the file, the files here, the files tab, we are going to see that we now have a main.exe. Okay? We are going to run this. This is the executable that the main program has created. Okay? How we are going to run it? Well, we are going to click on PowerShell dot slash and main dot exe. Okay? And then enter. And voila. Now our code just did exactly what we told him to do. We printed our first message. First day here. We can run it as many times as we like. Okay? If you, by the way, if you want to clear the terminal tab, the terminal screen, we are just going to write clear and then enter. And that's it. By the way, if we are going to keep up arrow, we are going to loop through the last thing that we do in the terminal. Okay, and let's press it again. Good. Okay, so that's the first thing. First day here. Great. Okay, now I'm going to show you a website. It's a Romanian website actually, but I really haven't found anything like this. I mean, probably it is. I'm not saying that is not. But it has a lot of problems from a lot of different topics, starting from really basics, from the addition of two numbers, subtraction of two numbers, the multiplication of two numbers, of three numbers, the minimum of two numbers, and so on and so forth. Okay, so there are a lot of basic problems sorted and basically put it in categories. And the only thing that you have to do is when you are entering the site, just right click and translate to English. Okay, so just go on this website. It's pbinfo.ro. Okay, and when you are here, just make an account. We have the Code Square account, and here on, yeah, now it's in Romanian, but translate to English, and it's automatically doing it. Problems, we have the 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and so on. We're going to now learn how to do a logical thinking, okay? So we're going to start step by step, chapter by chapter, to learn how to use vectors, loops, while, uh, conditional data structures, okay? And this hopefully will be the foundation to a really good understanding uh, of programming logic, okay? Okay, good. Now we're going to click on problems 9th grade, and the first. So this is basic elements of language, okay? We're going to focus on that at the moment, and we have operators and expressions. We're going to click on that. Okay, and the second problem, we are seeing that, by the way, we also have a rating of easy, medium. Okay, so majority of here are easy actually. Okay, but you can sort it from, you can actually filter them from the left side. The second one, and we are going to see the second one. It's actually a problem that says around Christmas we are all or become children again. And we need to write a program that displays a wish for your loved ones on the screen. Okay, so basically a message that we have to write. We have to make a program that writes a message, and that's it. The funny thing is that we are going to get used with this type of requirements. Basically, this is the part where it's saying what we need to do. The input data is what is given to us, and we are going to learn about that in a second. Here, it says that the program does not read any value. What's the idea? Where, for example, if we want a program that calculates the sum of two numbers, of course that it needs our input. Okay, the user has to tell the program what two numbers he needs. Okay, so in order for him to calculate the sum of them. Okay, but here we don't have any value that is required from the user. Just a program that prints a celebration. Here, for example, it's happy celebrations. Okay, so this is yeah, this is happy celebrations. Good. Now, how are we going to do that? Well, it's almost basically done, right? I mean, we already have the print syntax for our message. We are just going to write a celebration. How? Well, let's say that instead of first day here, we are going to write happy summer 2023. Okay, that's a pretty good one. I mean, it doesn't have any restrictions on what we have to output. Okay, if you are going to run this, happy summer 2023. Okay, what we are going to do is copy this code, Control A, Control C, and paste it here in this box. Here we are choosing the language. Make sure to have C++ here, otherwise it's not going to work. Okay, and we're going to paste it here, add the solution, and we are waiting for the evaluation, and this will always tell you how many points your solution has, because maybe sometimes your solution is partially correct, not fully correct, and you'll get like 60 points, 50 points, 70 points. Sometimes it's very frustrating and you'll get even 90 points, but not that sweet 100. For that, we need to learn how to always get 100 points, because they are the most optimal and great solution. Okay, good. Now let's start with another problem, very basic problem. Here we are going to start with the sum of two given numbers. Okay, so this is the sum of two given numbers. So basically, now the program actually needs for us needs from us two numbers in order for him to actually output the sum of them. How we are going to do that? That's pretty tricky. We are going to think, yeah, that's pretty tricky. How we are going to do that? Very interesting. Well, we are going to delete this. Okay, so this, bye bye. Now, in order for the program to receive the two numbers, it has to we have to declare them. The program has to know about them. Okay, we are seeing that the numbers received, okay, are under, this is 9 zeros, so 1 billion. Okay, the numbers are under 1 billion. So that's okay. That's an integer number. Okay, that's an integer number. So we are going to use two integer numbers. Okay, how we are going to use them? Well, we are going to declare them by first using the keyword for their data structure, that being int, because they are integers. Okay, make sure to leave the space here, always space, because if you are going to put something else here, it's not going to recognize it as int. So space, and then the two numbers. The two numbers can be anything you want, but they have to be unknown. You cannot do something like 4, 5, okay? No, no, not this, not this. A program has to be really objective. It has to receive any number that you want. The same program should be able to make the sum of multiple numbers, okay? So what we are going to do is actually declare two variables, but as letters. For example, A and B, okay? By the way, with comma between the two, we are separating and saying that these are two different variables. And at the end, never forget about the semicolon, okay? So now our program knows that we have two numbers. Two numbers that don't have any relevant value at the moment, okay? These values, these numbers, have to come from us, the user. So we have to read them from our keyboard. How to read variables? Well, we are going to use the second keyword of today's episode, C in. C from console and in from input. Same as C out. So it's C in and C out. Sin, it's actually different because it's greater now. So on C out we have less. On sin we have greater. And now we can write the variable that needs to be read from the user, which is A. And now we have two options. We can close the semicolon, the instruction, and it's going to read A. And what can we do next to read B as well? You guessed it. Sin B. Okay? But it's a little bit long. What if we have 5 variables, for example? We need to write 5 lines just for this? No. So instead of this, we can just continue after A and use again greater, and B. So this is basically a double instruction, if you want to call it like that, that is going to read both A and B. After we read these variables, after this line, after line 7, we actually have the value into them. So if the user comes from the keyboard and enters 5 and 9, after this line, the A is going to be 5 and B is going to be 9. Okay, so the order matters in which they are read. Okay, now if you want to have the sum of the two, there are two ways we can do that. We can do it the following way. We can do cout A plus B, okay? and then end our instruction. Let's run this because yeah, so we read them from the keyboard and then we output them to the console, okay? A plus B. This is going to be an operation, an addition operation done by the program, and then it's going to output us and return us the result. Let's run this. Now, if we are going to run main.exe, we can see that the program doesn't do anything. I mean, last time it stopped, okay? I mean, it just output the message and it stopped. Now it's not doing anything. Well, why? Because it's blocked on the line 7. It's actually waiting for our input, okay? It's waiting for the user to give the two numbers. So let's actually give the two numbers to it. 5 space, by the way, space, and 9. You can do also 5, enter, and 9, and then enter. But the last thing has to be enter. After the enter, we can see that out of nowhere, we have this 14 on the screen, which is actually after we gave 5 and 9 to our code, he actually got to the next line and output us the sum of the two. So that's the program. If you are going to check the example from the left in the problem, if you run this again and we write 12 and 23 and enter, we are going to receive 35. So congrats, you just made a simple addition program, okay? Yeah, so 3 lines of code. Who would have thought that is that easy, okay? Let's copy this and add this here. Add the solution. Now you can see that there are a lot more tests. And we pass them all with 100 points, okay? The other option to do it is to store the sum, okay? We can actually do whatever we want. That's the beauty of programming. We are some wizards and we can do any magic that we want. Of course, as long as it's correct, okay? So, what we can do here, we can actually declare another variable, another basically number, which is sum, okay? This sum, okay, I want to store in it, I want this sum to actually be the sum of the two. How we can do that? Well, we can do sum equals a plus b. Now you may see, whoa, what is this? I've already used this when actually testing if sum is equal to a plus b, right? Maybe on math or maybe on something else. Well, in programming is not the case. If you want to check if something is equal to each other, we have to use two equals signs. So equal equal. This actually means that you want to test if they are equal. If we want to say that we want sum to receive the value a plus b, we do sum equals, basically receives a plus b. And now sum, it's actually a plus b. The other way we can do this, it's actually not write this on 2 lines, but when we are declaring sum, we can do this here, equal a plus b, and then close with semicolon. We can do it either way. This way is shorter. So basically we are declaring a variable, and when we are declaring it, we are also initialize it with a value, a default value. And if we have this, now instead of a plus b, we can have sum, because the sum is computed here. Let's run this. So here with 12 and 23, we have a 35 result. So that's good. We can actually upload this as well, and it's the same result again, 100 points. So that's amazing. That's actually really good. Okay, that's actually really good. Great, great. Nice. So we have the second problem done. That's good. That's good. Let's start with the next one. Okay, same. Ninth grade. It's taking sometimes a little bit of time before it actually translates. You can always translate it faster like this. So we are going to operators and expressions, and let's see. We are going to have a problem with the difference between the two. Okay. And what about actually the difference? The difference actually, no, I will leave this to you guys. I will leave this to you to make for the next time. I would actually like to do this problem together with you. Okay, so in this problem, we are having two natural numbers now, okay, and we have to display their sum, their difference, their product, and their division. Okay, so that's really interesting. We have to output four things, not just one, but four. How are we going to do that? Well, there are two numbers, okay, and you can see that again these are read from the user. So we are going to keep these lines 6 and 7, which is declaring A and B, and it's actually reading them. Now let's actually do the printing. We are going to do cout first, the sum, as you can see. So it's 18, 15 plus 3, it's 18. So it's A plus B. Okay. Then we can do is same as seen. We can do on the next line again a cout, or we can do less and continue. Now it's A minus B, as you can see. Now it's A times B, and now it's A divided by B. Okay, so that seems correct. That seems correct. Let's run it. Let's run it and see what happens. Okay, so we did nothing crazy, just same as before, just combined more operations one after another. If we're going to run this, main.exe, we have to, again, input the two numbers, 15 and 3, and whoa, what is this? What is this number? Okay, and if we'll actually look a little closer, we see that the 18 is here, and then is the 12, and then is the 45, and then 5. But there is an issue here. You can see that here in the left side, we have a space between the numbers, and that, I mean, that's logical, right? I mean, we want to have the space. But here in our program, we don't have a space. How we are going to output the space? That's the question. Okay. Well, we are just going to use double quotes again, because a space, it's actually a piece of message, it's a text. So we need to output that as well. So after each operation, for example, A plus B, we also have to add a message which is just a space. So less, space. Okay, so we just can use singular quotes or double quotes. I choose double quotes here. So double quotes, less, okay, A minus B. So now basically we just added between the two operations double quotes, space. No? Okay. Now, A minus B. After A minus B, we are going to have another double quotes with a space, then less, and after A times B, another double quotes and A times B. Okay? Good. Now, if we run it again, we are going to have a nice and beautiful 15.3 and voila, with spaces. Okay? And that's really cool. That's actually really cool. Okay, great, great. So we actually learned our basics, One last thing that I want to show you and I want to teach you is the following. And this is going to be a homework. I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm just going to give you a hint. And if you want to follow the part two, okay, you just have to try. I mean, I hope that you are going to try. Please try. Please try. I beg you from my heart. Please try to do them yourself and then watch part two. We're going to solve this, okay? So I'm going to show you two things. First, in C++ and basically any programming language, by default, the division it's actually not as we expected it to be. For example, if you are going to let's say that we have a program that doesn't need any values, okay? It's just outputting a message. By the way, we can output as well numbers. For example, if I do cout 2, it's working. I mean, this is working, okay? So this is working well. It's actually just outputting 2, okay? No problem here. Now, if you are going to do, for example, 9 divided by 3, okay? That's really good. I mean, it's going to be 3, okay? It's going to be as expected. But if we are going to do 9 divided by 4, okay, we are going to expect to do something like 2 point, I don't know. But no, it's just 2, okay? So what is 9 divided by 4? Well, it's actually 2.25, but we actually got 2. So damn, what's wrong here? Why this is wrong? Well, by default, the division in programming languages between two integer numbers, it's actually also an integer value. Do you remember from the small classes of math where we learned about division rules, and that before we learned about division with comma, okay, and with precision of 2, I don't know, okay, decimals and so on. We actually learned that when we are going to do, for example, an A divided by B is going to be C, okay? So actually let me do something else. A, it's B. So when we are dividing A by B, okay, this is going to be the form A, it's B times C plus R. Okay? So we are going to get here the C, basically the just full the full part, okay, the full part of the division without these these decimals, and the R, it's actually the remainder of the division. For example, if you are going to do 9 divided by 4, okay, we are going to say that basically 9, it's 2 times 4. So let me do it the other way. 4 times 2 plus 1. Here, 2, it's actually the result of the division, okay, the full division, which is the 2 that we got here. And the 1, it's actually the remainder. Okay, so that's why by default we get 9 divided by 4, it's this number, basically the result of the whole division without the decimals. Now, why it is like this? Because in a lot of problems, in a lot of ways, this is helping us, the programmers, with a lot of different situations, and you are going to see that. Now, how we are going to get this reminder? Because we have something for it as well. We have a reminder. For example, instead of using the division operator, we are going to use the reminder operator, which is also called as module. Okay, So this is the 9 module 8 of the 4, sorry. And what is this going to print? It's actually the remainder of the division of 9 by 4. And if you are going to do this, it's going to be 1. Exactly that plus 1. Okay? I know that it's maybe it's a concept that it's a little bit harder to grasp on at first, but we need to get this to understand this, how the division works. By the way, if you still really want to actually do the full division, you can just make sure that at least one of the operands are actually um, a float number. A float number, it's basically a real number instead of an integer. A float number, you can do it like 4.0. Okay, so it's basically the same value, it's 4, but it's a 0.0, and it's saying that, oh, this is not an integer, it's a real number. Okay, and now if you are going to do that, well, it's 225. Okay, so that's good. By the way, if we had a problem where we were given the two numbers from the user, how we could do this? Well, for example, we have an A and B, okay, and we have to read them, A and B. So we can do the first thing, A divided by B, and this, if we actually go on with the 9 and 4, we are going to get 2. Why? Because both A and B are integers, okay? Now, there are several ways to do this. For example, we can make sure that these are recognized by the program as float numbers, as real numbers. And then we can use this float instead of int. Now, when actually doing the division, because at least one of the operands are actually real and not integers, the result will be 225. Okay? But what if we still wanted to keep this as integers, but here we wanted to still have the 225 division, the full division? Well, now it's not working to do something like this, okay? So this now is not working. It's an error. But what we can do actually is before A, we can do a 1.0 multiplied by A and then divided by B. Why? Because now 1.0 is actually 1, so it's not doing anything. Multiplied by A, it's A. But now, because 1.a is a float, when multiplied by A, the result will also be a float. And when divided by B, basically A, this whole expression will be perceived by the program as being a float number. Okay? So now, this way, we can still keep the integer declaration of the variables, but we can still have the full division of the numbers. So now 9 and 4 and 2, 25. Okay, good. Now, that's pretty much about it for the first episode. We are going to have a few problems for you to try. That's what this is, just a hint. Basically, just keep this in mind. The division, it's not always the full division. If it's done between integer numbers, it's done without, basically with remainder. So we are going to get the just basically the whole division, okay? And if you are going to use a float divided by or a float or an integer, we are going to get the full division with decimals. Now, if we are going to need the remainder, please keep in mind module. So the remainder operator. Okay. Why? Because we are going to have the following problems. So we made the first two and um, oh, we haven't solved this one. One second, let me go back and add this to our list of problems. One second. Okay, so this one we can add it here, 100 points, and then from here, what I want to do, what I want you to do, guys, it's actually to have these three problems. So decrease 2, two natural numbers are given, calculate the difference. Okay, so this has the tag, this is the link. Okay, so this is the link, and we are going to have also this one, the last digit of the sum of two numbers. This is going to be tricky. This is going to be exactly related to this, and I'm really curious if anyone will be able to do it from the beginners one, of course. Okay, and also problem globes. I will also leave a link to them in the YouTube in the video description. But that's it. I hope that this was helpful for you. I'm again sorry for, I mean, this I had a lot of emotions. Sometimes I forgot some English words. I hope that I've been, I mean, at least acceptably clear with what I was trying to explain. Please let me know any feedback. Any feedback would be helpful. Uh, I'm on the start on my way, so it's any feedback, any idea of improvement would be really appreciated from you guys. So thank you, and see you next time at our C++ series from beginner to hero, and I promise you that. See you again soon, guys. Bye bye.